What's up, Cedar Park? First, hear about how you can register to vote.
Catch the top 3 things you need to know this morning and this week's edition of our Hispanic Heritage Month Spotlight.
An all-new Pack Chat plus a new edition of Pet of the Week.
Turn it up because the Wolfcast starts now. And welcome back. I'm Katie Whitmarsh, and I'm here this morning with Jack Polishuk and Maddie Cooper, filling in for Abby Martinez.
Today on the Wolfcast, we begin the first episode of Behind the Ballot, a series on the upcoming LISD election and how you can get involved. Voter registration is open for the 2022 November general elections.
LISD school board elections are coming up, and the future of the academic programs in the district rests in the voters' hands. Here's reporter Ileana Tangarova with more on voter registration.
Thanks, Maddie. Voting is a crucial factor in having students' voices heard. The first step in doing that is registering to vote, and some of our very own seniors are getting to that point.
Voter registration is now open. The process is simple. The first step is receiving and filling out the registration form. You can find this form online, or it may even be sent to your home by mail. CPHS government teacher and Rho Kappa sponsor Jennifer Fortenberry explains the full process and some tips on what to bring when registering.
It's super easy to register. All you have to do is come fill out a little short form. It's just going to ask you stuff like what's your address, what's your information. Generally, the things that are helpful to bring to register is it asks for your social security number if you have one. Also, if you have a Texas driver's license, they like to have you fill that out as well. But sometimes people don't have those, and those are not required to register, but it's a good idea to have them if you do. You just fill out the form, you send it in the mail, and that's pretty much it.
Though you must be 18 to vote, you only need to be 17 years and 10 months to register. In Texas, you must be registered 30 days in advance of the election date. If you have not registered by election day, you won't be eligible to vote, regardless if you're of age. It's a focus of Rho Kappa to provide students with resources they need to be informed about voting.
Well, it's really important to vote because this is your opportunity to make your voice heard. And a lot of times, voting, it can really impact your community. Like, for example, coming up in this next election, there's some questions that can really impact our local schools that are on the ballot. So it's just important to, if you want to be a member of a society that's a democracy and you want to have your voice heard, you have to vote.
This is a big year for local elections, which include 5 out of the 7 seats of the LISD school board up for re-elections and both Propositions A and B waiting for approval after the election. The stake of the Leander ISD academic programs lie in the voters' hands. Rho Kappa Vice President Erin Nam describes the importance of registering to vote.
I think it's important to vote just so that the younger society of our generation knows our rights and is able to put out our opinion to the world, to change the world to a better place, to make it how we want it instead of how the world is as if we weren't able to put our voice out there.
Registering to vote can ultimately decide what will happen to our academic or extracurricular programs here at Cedar Park High School. If you are interested and eligible to register to vote, you can stop by Miss Fortenberry's room 2018 and grab a voter registration form. The deadline to register is next Tuesday, October 11th.
Thanks, Ileana. Check out next week's Wolfcast for the next Behind the Ballot report, featuring a look into what both Leander ISD propositions mean and what will happen if they are passed or not.
You can also check out the Wolfpack's paired article by Madison Shields on more specifics about voter registration and what it means for the future of the student body. You can find this at cphs.com or a link in our Instagram at cphsnews.
Now, as we continue recognizing National Hispanic Heritage Month, the Wolfcast is spotlighting one Hispanic Texan a week. This week's Hispanic Heritage Spotlight is on ABC News for anchor and reporter John Quinones. John is a fifth-generation San Antonian and became the first Mexican-American reporter for a major news network when he joined ABC News in 1982. Within a few years of joining ABC, John was reported to a reporter for Primetime Live and eventually began hosting his own show, a hidden camera series called What Would You Do?
We want to thank you for his contribution to journalism and for even speaking to our very own broadcast class last year.
Up next, Caleb Taylor joins here at the desk with the top 3 things you need to know for today, right after these announcements.
I'm Ava Caldwell, and you're watching the Wolfcast.
What's up, Cedar Park? First off this morning, the San Marcos High School football team was placed on a 3-year probation. The punishment was originally given because the head coach of the school allegedly recruited players to transfer from different schools to play on the team, which goes against the UIL guidelines. When the incident began back in August, UIL gave the team a 2-year playoff ban, but after a hearing on Monday evening, it was decreased into a probation. Next up, a South Korean air base suffered an explosion after a failed missile test launch yesterday evening. The launch was in response to a test North Korea conducted earlier that day, sending missiles over Japan for the first time in 5 years. The reprisal launch from South Korea was not a success, but there were reportedly no casualties or injuries. And lastly, the Overwatch video game was permanently shut down on Tuesday. The massively popular first-person shooter was released back in 2016 and was taken offline yesterday morning to make way for the game's sequel. Overwatch 2 moves away from the game's traditional format, replacing the loot box function with a battle pass system and making it free to play. But the developers are facing backlash due to the game's long queues and unreliable connections. Those are your top 3 things this morning. I'm Caleb Taylor, and have a wicked Wednesday, Cedar Park.
So they completely shut down the game?
They did, it's gone.
But everybody, you had to pay $40 for it.
I know.
And now you can't play it.
Yeah, it's a real bummer. I played the crap out of that game when I was a kid.
That was my childhood.
Yeah. And now it's gone.
Who did you main in that game?
Ooh, I liked Farah. She was cool. She had the rocket launcher.
Oh, yeah.
What about you?
Who was it? I played McCree a lot, or whatever his new thing.
See, Maddie and I are so confused. We have no
Yeah,
idea what
I've
any
never
of
played a video game, so.
All right.
Thanks, Caleb. And happy birthday, too, man.
Thanks, man.
Now it's time for your pet of the week. Is that me? Our pet of the week is Katie May's dog, Daisy. Daisy is a 7-year-old and is a King Charles Spaniel. One of her favorite things in the world are blueberries, and she hates hats with a passion. If you'd like your pet to be featured on Pet of the Week, direct message us on our Instagram account at CPHS News, or tweet us your videos in a short bio of your pet at CPHS News.
Up next, a brand new edition of our student opinion segment, the Pack Chat, but first, this quick break.
Take it easy, yeah. Make yourself right at home. And never leave me, yeah. You don't have to feel alone, yeah.
Welcome back to the Pack Chat. I'm Jack Polishuk, joined by 18-year-old Caleb Taylor, Paula Llamas, and Anthony Luparello. The Pack Chat is our student opinion segment where we will be discussing this week's most trending topics and share some of your thoughts on social media along the way. So let's get started. First, Georgia Republican candidate Herschel Walker has been accused of paying for his girlfriend's abortion in 2009. Walker has denied the accusations, but the anonymous accuser has reported a cash check with his name signed, as well as a get well soon card, also with his name signed. The GOP senator's son, Christian Walker, has also criticized his dad on Twitter, saying, quote, "I don't care about someone who has had a bad past and takes accountability. But how dare you lie and act as though you're some moral, Christian, upright man? You've lived a life destroying other people's lives. How dare you?" End quote. So, that's a lot to unpack, but what are your guys' thoughts?
I think the senator is really hypocritical, and I'm not really surprised.
Especially because he's supported abortion in the
Yeah.
past. Still now. He
Yeah.
said in an interview he's still pro-life.
Yeah, it's just annoying seeing how hypocritical all these politicians are, and it's just, I don't know, what else is new at this point?
As someone who is now able to vote, I mean, I would really like for the politicians to be, truthful in what they're saying, and aligned to their own beliefs.
Yeah. I totally agree with you there.
Thanks.
Next, more Kanye West news. The rapper has yet again entered controversy, this time for his Yeezy fashion show in Paris, France, where he and other models wore shirts with the phrase "White Lives Matter" on the back. Following this, Kanye criticized Vogue editor Gabriella Carifa Johnson, who attended and criticized the event. And West also posted private text messages from someone saying not to, quote, "insult the writer," end quote. This led to model Gigi Hadid calling Kanye West, quote, a bully, and a joke. So I really don't understand what he was trying to get at there.
He just wants more attention.
It's definitely
It's not-
attention-seeking behavior. I feel like it's just all this controversy that he keeps getting into is definitely just, to probably get more listens on his albums and all that stuff. I feel like he's probably gonna like release soon or something because I don't know why else he would do all.
I mean, like, I love his music. I've always, like, thought he's been a great artist. I don't, like, there's got to be some point to this, but, like, what is it? And, like, when does it go too far, you know?
It's really hard to support him after, seeing him constantly do stuff like this.
Mhm.
And so
Yeah.
I want to enjoy his music, but I don't want to tell people I'm a Kanye fan,
Yeah.
Exactly.
I get that.
Yeah.
Finally, California will officially make jaywalking legal with the Freedom to Walk Act, which states that police officers can only cite pedestrians when, quote, a reasonably careful person would realize there is an immediate danger of a collision. So, what are your guys' stance on jaywalking?
I think jaywalking is horrible.
I think
Really?
it's fine.
I like the intention.
We need
Do you want
jaywalking.
people
What's
to
the problem
die?
with jaywalking?
Who's
dying?
People are. Do you think people
When
are
the
dying from
jaywalking is
jaywalking?
illegal, that means people die. That's when the streets are not safe. That's when the
Yeah,
crosswalk.
you can't just make. What's next? Making what? Chewing
like,
gum
murder
illegal?
Like,
Wrong.
that's ridiculous.
What are you even talking about right now?
Well, I'm anti-jaywalking.
Well, I'm pro jaywalking.
I'm pro.
If that was
I'm
clear.
anti. I like the intention of it, but you are wrong.
You're wrong.
You're wrong.
You're wrong.
You're wrong.
You guys
You're
are
wrong.
You're wrong.
Get out of here.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
That's all we have for you today. Make sure you're keeping up with all of our content, so head over to our YouTube at CPHS News.
You can also follow at CPHS_sports for updates during the games.
Catch Friday's show for a story on the new theater tech teacher, a new edition of Weekend Destinations, and a sports report.
Thanks for taking time to join us this morning.
With CPHS News, I'm Maddie Cooper.
I'm Jack Polshuk.
And I'm Katie Whitmarsh. Remember to make it a great day or not. The choice is yours. Have a wonderful Wednesday, Cedar Park.